There is a saying in our village, the mouth that whispers poison in the dark is the same mouth that will drink from the cup it filled. Today, I want to tell you a story that will make you laugh, maybe cry a little, and definitely think twice about the company you keep. This is the story of three sisters. Well, two evil ones and one innocent soul, caught in the middle. Grab your seats, get comfortable, and let me take you on this journey. In a bustling city called Benin, there lived a man named Chief Osaze. Now, Chief Osaze wasn't just any chief. He was the chief. The man had money flowing like River Niger during rainy season. He owned businesses, properties, and had respect from everyone who knew him. But you know what they say, money can buy you a mansion, but it can't buy you peace in that mansion. Chief Osaze had three daughters from three different women. Yes, I know what you're thinking. The man had choices to make and he made them all. His first daughter was Elo, beautiful like morning sunrise, but her heart as cold as ice block from a freezer that hadn't been defrosted since 1995. She was 32-year-old and worked as a banker in one of those big banks where they treat you like you're begging for your own money. The second daughter was Ozato, 29 years old, a lawyer who could argue that black is white and make you believe it. She had her mother's sharp tongue and her father's stubbornness. Between Hello and Ozato, there was a bond tighter than a Messiah purse. These two, they were trouble multiplied by trouble. Then there was Adesua, the last born, 25 years old, fresh out of university, and innocent like a child who still believe that the tooth fairy is real. Adesua was the daughter of Chief Ozata's late wife, Mama Ade, who died when Adesua was just 10 years old. The girl grew up under her father's care, and Chief Ozate loved her more than his other children. Not because he didn't love them, but because Adesua reminded him of the only woman he truly loved. Now, this is where the problem started. You see, Elo and Ozato's mothers were still alive, living in their own houses that Chief Ozato's bought for them. But this woman, they had filled their daughter's head with bitterness like someone pouring spoiled soup into a clean pot. They told them that Adesua would inherit everything, that Chief Ozate loved her more, that they were just outside children, while Adesua was the real daughter. And sisters believed every word. They watched Adesua like hawks, watching a chicken, waiting for any opportunity to strike. One evening, Chief Ozate called a family meeting. He gathered all three in his massive living room. The kind of living room where you need a microphone to talk to someone sitting on the other end. The chandelier above them was twinkling like a stars, and the air condition was humming softly. Chief Ozate cleared his throat and said, "My daughters, I'm getting old. I'm 65 now, and it is time for me to start putting things in order. I've decided to make Adesua the managing director of my main company." Chai. If looks could kill, Adesua would have died right there on that Italian leather sofa. Elo's smiles froze, on her face like eyes on a windscreen. Ozato clenched her fist so tight, her manicured nails nearly pierced her palms. But you know what? Being the professionals they were, they smiled. Yes, they smiled and congratulated Adesua. Elo stood up, hugged Adesua and said, "Congratulations, baby sis. You deserve it." Ozato joined in. "Yes, so, our brilliant baby sis, we are so proud of you." But Adesua Sweet innocent Adesoa. She didn't see the storm brewing behind those smiles. She didn't notice how their eyes had turned dark like the sky before a terrible thunderstorm. After the meeting, as everyone was leaving, Elo whispered to Osato in the parking lot, "Meet me at my house tonight. We need to talk." That evening in Elo's luxurious apartment in Ikoyi, the two sisters sat in the darkness of her bedroom. Why the darkness? Because evil things are always planned in darkness, my friend. Elo poured 2 glasses of wine, handed one to Osato, and said, "That small girl wants to take what belongs to us." Osato laughed. Not a happy laugh, but the kind of laugh that sounds like a broken bottles scraping on concrete. She said, "Daddy has finally shown us who he truly loves. But you know what? We are not going to sit down and watch Adesoa take everything our mother struggled for." Elo nodded softly, a wicked smile creeping across her face. "I have a plan, but it requires patience. We'll slowly turn Daddy against her. We'll make him see that she's not the angel he thinks she is." And that, my friend, is how the whispering in the dark began. For the next few months, Elo and Osato became the sweetest sisters you have ever seen. They took Adesoa out for lunch, bought her gifts, invited her to parties. Adesoa was so happy. Finally, her older sisters were accepting her. She would call her best friend Ifeoma and gush about how close they were becoming. But while they were smiling at Adesoa's face, they were busy planting seed of destruction behind her back. One day, Elo visited Chief Osato in his office. She came with his favorite food, pounded yam and egusi soup with plenty of stockfish. You know how African parents are with food. Show them food and their defenses come down like NEPA taking light. As Chief Osato was enjoying his meal, Elo casually said, "Daddy, I'm worried about Adesoa." Chief Osato looked up, concern flashing across his face. "Why? Is she sick?" "No," Elo said, shaking her head sadly. "It's just, I've been noticing that she's been keeping bad company. Last week, I saw her at a club with some rough-looking boys. I didn't want to say anything, but as a sister, I'm concerned." This was a complete lie. Adesoa had been home that night, reading a book and watching Hollywood movies, but Chief Osato didn't know that. He frowned, his appetite suddenly gone. "Are you sure?" "Daddy, I saw her with my eyes. I just thought you should know. I'm not trying to cause trouble, but you know how important the family reputation is." And just like that, the first seed was planted. A week later, Osato came by during dinner. She sat with her father and said, "Daddy, I need to tell you something, but please don't be angry with Adesoa. She's still young and learning." "What happened?" Chief Osato asked, his voice tight with worry. "Some of the staff at the company are complaining that Adesoa has been coming to work late and spending more time on her phone than working. I tried to talk to her about it, but she got defensive. I don't want to interfere with how you run things, but I thought you should know." Another lie. Ade had been punctual and hardworking, impressing everyone at the office, but Chief Osato didn't know about that. These whispers continued for months. Every week, either Elo or Osato would drop by with another story, another concern, another "I'm just looking out for her" tale. And slowly, like water dripping on a stone, they began to erode Chief Osato's trust in his beloved daughter. Meanwhile, Adesoa was completely clueless. She noticed her father was becoming distant, but she thought he was just stressed about business. When she tried to talk to him, he would cut the conversation short. When she tried to visit his house, he would suddenly remember an appointment he had to attend. One day, Adesua came to the office crying. She called her friend Ifeoma and said, "Ifeoma, I don't know what is wrong with Daddy. He barely talked to me anymore. Did I do something wrong?" Ifeoma was a sharp girl and had never trusted Elo and Ozato. She said, "Adesua, when did all this started? Think carefully. When did your father started acting strange?" Adesua thought about it and realized it started after her sister began getting close to her. But she put the thought away. "No, Ifeoma. Elo and Ozato have been so sweet to me. They can't be behind this." Ifeoma said, "Just be careful, oh. Not everyone who smiles at you is your friend." But Adesua didn't listen. She was too trusting, too innocent, too blind to see the trap that was closing around her. One Friday evening, Chief Ozato called Adesua to his house. When she arrived, she found Elo and Ozato already sitting in the living room, looking somber. Her heart began to race. Something was wrong. Chief Ozato looked at Adesua with disappointment in his eyes, the kind of look that breaks a child's heart in a million pieces. He said, "Adesua, sit down. We need to talk." She sat, her hands trembling. "Daddy, what is wrong?" "What is wrong?" Chief Ozato's voice rose. "What is wrong is that I've been hearing disturbing reports about you. Clubbing, laziness at work, disrespect to your sisters, and now I hear you have been stealing money from the company account." "What?" Adesua jumped up, her eyes wide with shock. "Daddy, that's not true. Who told you that?" Elo stood up, placing a gentle hand on Adesua's shoulder. "Baby sis, we are not accusing you. We are just concerned. The accountant noticed some discrepancies." "Discrepancies?" Adesua's voice cracked. "Daddy, I would never steal from you. Never. Who is telling you these lies?" "Lies." Chief Ozato slammed his hand on the armrest. "So your sisters are lying. The staff members are lying. Everyone is lying except you." Ozato spoke up, her voice dripping with false sympathy. "Adesua, nobody is calling you a thief. Maybe you just made a mistake. Maybe you borrowed the money and forget to log it. We can fix this." "I didn't take any money." Adesua was crying now, tears streaming down her face. "Daddy, please believe me. I don't know what is happening, but someone is setting me up." Chief Ozato stood up, his face hard as stone. "Adesua, I'm very disappointed in you. I gave you a position in my company, trusted you with responsibility, and this is how you repay me? Until you can prove your innocence, you are suspended from the company, and I'm reconsidering my decision to make you managing director." "Daddy, please, leave my house. I need time to think." Adesua looked at her sisters, searching their faces for support, but all she saw were carefully crafted expressions of concern. She didn't see the victory dancing in their eyes, the satisfaction of a plan well executed. That night, Adesua cried until she had no more tears left. She called Ifeoma, who came over immediately. As Ifeoma held her friend, Adesua sobbed, "I don't understand what is happening to me. Why would anyone want to destroy me like this?" Ifeoma looked at her friend and said what she had been thinking for months. "Adesua, I think your sisters are behind this. Think about it. All these problems started when they began getting close to you." "No, Ifeoma, they have been so supportive. They even defended me to Daddy." "Defended you?" Ifeoma laughed bitterly. "Adesua, wake up. These people are playing you like a drum in a village festival. I've watched them for months. The way they look at you when you are not watching, there is no love there, only envy. Adesuwa refused to believe it. How could her own sister do this to her? Meanwhile, back in Elo's apartment, the two sisters were celebrating. They had opened a bottle of expensive champagne and were toasting to their success. Elo raised her glass. To us, the queen of strategy. Osato clinked her glass against her sisters. Daddy has finally seen Adesuwa for the failure she is. Now, one of us will become managing director and inherit the bulk of his wealth. Elo added with a wicked smile, but Osato frowned. Wait, which one of us? We never discussed this part. Elo looked at her sister, and for the first time, a crack appeared in their united front. Well, I'm the oldest. It should naturally go to me. But I'm a lawyer, Osato countered. I'm more qualified to handle Daddy's estate. The room went quiet. The two sisters stared at each other, and you could feel the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Elo laughed nervously. Let's not fight over this. We are in this together, remember? Of course, Osato agreed, but a smile didn't reach her face. The seed of discord had been planted. You see, evil people can never truly trust each other because they know what they are capable of. If they could betray their own sister, what would stop them from betraying each other? But before they could tear each other apart, they had one more card to play. They needed to completely destroy Adesuwa's reputation, making sure their father would never trust her again. Osato came up with a final plan. What if we make it look like Adesuwa is trying to poison Daddy? We can put something in his food and make sure evidence points to her. Elo's eyes widened. Are you crazy? That's too dangerous. Not real poison, you fool. Just something to make him sick for a few days. We'll make sure the maid accidentally revealed that Adesuwa was the last person in the kitchen. Daddy will cut her off completely and will be there to comfort him and take over everything. It was a wicked plan. The kind of plan that only truly evil hearts could conceive. But they were about to learn that when you dig a pit for someone else, you should dig too, because you might just fall into one yourself. The following week, the sisters put their plan into action. They convinced Adesuwa to visit her father and make peace with him. Sweet, innocent Adesuwa was so eager to fix things that she immediately agreed. On the day of the visit, Elo and Osato arrived at their father's house early. They had brought food as a peace offering and made sure Adesuwa saw them in the kitchen preparing it. What Adesuwa didn't see was Osato slipping a powerful laxative into the soup. Not enough to cause serious harm, but enough to make Chief Osato very sick. After the meal, the sisters left, telling Adesuwa to spend time with their father alone. About 2 hours later, Chief Osato became violently ill. He was vomiting, had severe stomach pain, and had to be rushed to the hospital. At the hospital, the doctor ran tests and discovered traces of laxative in his system. Someone had deliberately poisoned him. The family was in an uproar. Who could do such a thing? And then, like clockwork, the maid that Elo and Osato had bribed spoke up. Sir, I saw Miss Adesuwa in the kitchen, stirring the soup. She said she wanted to add more seasoning. Chief Osato's face turned red, with rage even as he lay in his hospital bed. Adesuwa, how dare you? Get out! Get out of my life! You are no longer my daughter. Adesuwa was devastated. She tried to explain, tried to defend herself, but nobody was listening. Even the hospital staff looked at her with suspicion and disgust. She ran out of the hospital, her heart shattered into pieces, her life in ruins. But God always has a way of exposing evil, no matter how careful it's hidden. You see, Chief Ozate had a personal assistant named Mr. Akin. Mr. Akin had been with Chief Ozate for 25 years and was loyal to a fault. He had watched Adesua grow up and he knew the girl's character. He also knew that Elo and Ozato were troublemakers who had always been jealous of their younger sister. Something about this whole situation didn't add up to Mr. Akin. So, he did what any good detective would do. He started investigating. He talked to the maid privately, and being clever man he was, he told her that the police would be getting involved and that anyone who lied would go to prison for a long time. The maid cracked like an egg eating the floor. She confessed everything. How Hello and Ozato had paid her 50,000 naira to lie. How they had been planning this for weeks. How they had been feeding Chief Ozate lies about Adesua for months. But Mr. Akin didn't stop there. He went to the company and reviewed the accounting records himself. Guess what he found? The missing money that Adesua was accused of stealing. It had been transferred to a shadow account that traced back to Ozato. She had stolen the money and framed Adesua for it. Mr. Akin gathered all his evidence, bank statements, text messages, between the sisters, the maid's confession, everything. Then he did something brilliant. He didn't just give the evidence to Chief Ozate. No. He called a family meeting at Chief Ozate's house and invited everyone, including Elo, Ozato, and Adesua. The atmosphere in Chief Ozate's living room was tense. Everyone was confused about why they had been summoned. Elo and Ozate was sat together, looking concerned but confident. They thought they had won. Adesua sat far from everyone, her eyes red from crying, looking defeated and broken. Mr. Akin stood in front of them with a laptop and a projector. Chief Ozato, still weak from his ordeal, sat in his chair looking frail. Mr. Akin began. Chief, I apologize for the dramatic setup, but what I'm about to reveal needs witnesses. I've uncovered something that will shock you all. He pressed the button and text messages appeared on the screen. They were conversations between Elo and Ozato, planning how to destroy Adesua's reputation. There were messages about the lies they would tell Chief Ozate, about bribing the maid, about stealing the company money and framing Adesua. The room went dead silent. They could hear a pin drop on the carpet. Elo stood up, her face pale. Where did you get this? That is an invasion of privacy. Sit down. Mr. Akin's voice was cold. I'm not done. He played a video next. It was security footage from Chief Ozate's kitchen on the day of the poisoning. Clear as day, the video showed Ozato slipping something into the soup while Elo stood guard. Then it showed them calling Adesua into the kitchen, making sure she touched the soup pot, setting her up perfectly. Ozato jumped up pointing at the screen. That video is fake. He doctored it. Really? Mr. Akin smiled grimly. Should I play the recording of the maid's confession? Or should I show the bank statement proving that you, Ozate, stole the money and framed Adesua? I have it all. Everything. Chief Ozate tried to stand up, his hands shaking with rage and disbelief. His voice came out as a whisper. Is this true? My own daughters tried to destroy their sister, poisoned me? Elo dropped to her knees, tears streaming down her face. Daddy, please, we didn't mean for it to go this far. We were just angry that you loved her more than us. Our mother told us, don't you dare blame your mothers for your wickedness. Chief Ozate roared, finding strength in his anger. You are grown women. You plotted like criminals, lied like demons, and almost destroyed an innocent girl's life. For what? Money? Position? Ozato was crying too now, but they were tears of someone caught, not someone repentant. Daddy, we are sorry. Please forgive us, we will make it right. Chief Ozate turned to look at Adesoa, who sat frozen, tears rolling down her cheeks, his heart broken into a million pieces, seeing the pain and betrayal in his youngest daughter's eyes. Adesoa, my daughter, I failed you. I believed your lies. I turned my back on you when you needed me most. Can you forgive me? Adesoa couldn't speak on. She just nodded. Fresh tears flowing. Chief Ozate walked over to her, got on his knees despite his age and weakness, and hugged his daughter. Both of them wept for the trust that was broken, for the time that was lost, for the pain that was caused. Then Chief Ozate stood up, his face hard as granite, and turned to Elo and Ozato. Get out of my house, both of you. I'm cutting you out of my will completely. You will not get 1 naira from me, and I'm pressing charges against both of you for theft, fraud, and attempted murder. Daddy, no, they screamed. You wanted to play evil games. Now you will face evil consequences. Mr. Ade, call the police. As the police arrived and led Elo and Ozato away in handcuffs, they were screaming, begging, pleading for mercy. But Chief Ozate had turned his back on them. He had learned the hard way that not all children are blessings, and that sometimes the family you trust most can be your greatest enemy. The trial was the talk of the town. People couldn't believe that 2 successful women would go to such lengths to destroy their sister. The evidence was overwhelming, and the judge showed no mercy. Elo was sentenced to 5 years in prison for theft and conspiracy. Ozato got 7 years for additional charge of attempted poison. Their mothers tried to come to Chief Ozato's house to beg for their daughters, but he refused to see them. He told Mr. Akin to tell them that they raised their daughters to be evil, and now they would all reap what they sowed. As for Adesoa, Chief Ozaze spent months trying to rebuild their relationship. It wasn't easy. The wounds were deep, and trust, once broken, is hard to repair. But slowly, with time, patience, and a lot of honest conversations, they found their way back to each other. Chief Ozaze made Adesoa the managing director as he had originally planned. But more importantly, he sat her down and had a real conversation. Father to daughter, heart to heart. Adesoa, he said, holding her hand, I've learned something from all of this. Success, money, position, they bring out the true nature of people. Your sister weren't evil because I made you managing director. They were already evil, and the opportunity just revealed what was already in their heart. Adesoa nodded, still healing from the betrayal. Daddy, how do I trust people again? How do I not see evil in everyone? Chief Ozaze smiled sadly. You don't stop trusting my daughter, but you trust wisely. You watch people's actions over time, not just their words in the moment. You notice who celebrates your success genuinely and who smiles with their mouth while their eyes tell a different story. and most importantly, you trust God to reveal to you the nature of those around you. Adesoa went on to run the company successfully. She was fair, honest and hardworking. The staff who had whispered around her based on her sister's lies came to respect her deeply. She proved that integrity and truth always win in the end, even when it seems like evil is prevailing. Years later, when Hello and Ozaze were released from prison, they came to beg for forgiveness, not to Chief Ozaze, who had passed away peacefully in his sleep, but to Adesoa. They were broken, humbled by their time in prison, and genuinely remorseful. It was Ifeoma, still Adesoa's best friend, who said, "You don't have to forgive them if you are not ready." But Adesoa, who had learned that bitterness is a poison, who drink hoping others would die, decided to forgive them. Not because they deserve it, but because she deserved peace. She didn't give them position in the company, but she didn't pretend that their relationship could ever be what it should have been. But she forgave them and helped them get back to their feet. The last anyone heard, Hello was working as a teacher in a small school, humbled and changed by her experience. Ozaze had given up law and was working with a charity organization, trying to redeem herself by helping others. So, what did we learn from this story of these evil sisters who whispered in the dark? We learned that jealousy is a cancer that eats the person who harbors it, not the person it's aimed at. We learned that evil plans may succeed for a season, but truth always has a way of coming to light. We learned that when you dig a pit for someone else, you better be careful, because you might just fall into it yourself. But most importantly, we learned that not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. Not everyone who calls you sister or brother has your best interest at heart. Some people will whisper sweet words in your presence and poison in your absence. Watch them, observe them, trust God to reveal their true nature to you. And if you are the one being plotted against, take heart. Every Adesoa has their Mr. Akin. Someone who will stand up for the truth when everyone else believes the lie. Your job is to maintain your integrity, do what's right, and trust that God sees everything happening in the dark. Remember, the tongues that whispers evil in the dark will eventually be exposed in the light. The hands that plot wickedness will eventually reap their own harvest. So, stay on the side of truth, even when it's difficult. Stay on the side of kindness, even when others are cruel. Because, at the end of the day, it's not about winning by any means necessary. It's about winning with your integrity intact. Thank you for watching this story. What lesson did you learn from it? Kindly share your thoughts in the comment section. Give this story a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more inspiring stories. Until next time, bye.